It makes us happier. It makes us more thoughtful. It registers in our biology. It improves sleep. It improves health. It can make you as happy as winning the lottery, and the happiness can sustain if you build a habit of expressing gratitude. I don't know about you, but I get grumpy. Sometimes crestfallen, sometimes almost hopeless. I look at the state of wealth disparities, look at the state of the climate. I see koalas dying in Australia, and it makes me weep. I look at the state of our democracy, and I wonder if we have hope. I wonder what we're going to do about it. It makes me just want to, buy furniture and binge TV. But sometimes I remember that gratitude helps, and gratitude matters. That we can train ourselves to say thank you to the good stuff, to the stuff that is fueling the hope in our democracy, the better parts of the discussion, the progress that's being made to bend the arc of history towards justice, the hope that might not be emanating from Washington, D.C., it might be emanating from a state capitol, from a city council, maybe from a nonprofit organization, maybe from a group of activists. And when I can train my brain on that, when I can focus my attention at least every once in a while on good things that good people are doing, I can get up. I cannot just go to IKEA and buy furniture and binge some oligarch's TV channel. But I can say, I can do a little bit. I can do my little bit. Each of us can do our little bit to make democracy a little bit better rather than a lot worse. I want to thank Caitlin Baggett and the Bus Project for pushing automatic voter registration in Oregon, which has now spread to so many other states. I want to say thanks to the Honest Elections crew for pushing for campaign finance reform. I want to say thanks to Mark Frohnmeyer and to Sarah Wolk for pushing for star voting, an innovative way to make selections. What are you grateful for? What is something that we should be calling out other than our anger, legitimate anger, other than our fear, legitimate fear, other than our contempt, our sadness, legitimate contempt, certainly legitimate sadness? What are you grateful for? This is the Thom Hartmann Show. I'm Jefferson Smith sitting in. Tom will be back on Monday. The call-in number here is 202-808-9925. 202-808-9925. It is Thank You Thursday. I'll tell you someone else I'm thankful for. The Republican U.S. Senator from the state of Utah, Mitt Romney. A man who ran for president, a man for whom I did not vote, but a man who stood before, to use his words, God, and his colleagues in the U.S. Senate, and the Twitter blitzerati of the right wing, and the talk media apparatus that dominates AM and many FM airwaves around the country, and in front of Fox News, and in front of, yes, a watchful president of the United States eventually, and said, I took an oath. I took an oath, and for me, an oath matters. And that oath was to deliver impartial justice, look at the facts, and to apply those facts to the constitutional principles and law. And I know the consequence, or at least I know there will be significant consequence that will befall me. And I have to vote to convict. I want to say thank you to Mitt Romney. For those who have criticized him as an opportunist in this moment, what opportunity do you think he is seizing? I mean, yeah, maybe an opportunity to get talked about, but you really think He cares what I say to a bunch of fluffy-hearted liberals on this radio channel. Maybe it is a chance that if history moves quickly against Donald Trump, perhaps after John Bolton's book is released, and we see more of the depths of the fraud that was committed upon the country, maybe he'll see that the Republican Party wants a chapter after Donald Trump, and he will be in a position to lead or at least be a symbol for that post-Trump Republican Party. Maybe there are silver linings in a dark cloud of political pain. But make no mistake, I believe it when Mitt Romney says he was doing this out of conscience, because the math doesn't make much sense otherwise. John F. Kennedy was elected president. Prior to being elected president, he wrote a book. That book was Profiles in Courage. The Profiles in Courage were about U.S. senators who took courageous stands, typically standing against power to do something of principle. Often something of principle that turned out to be right in the evolving story of history. This was such a profile. It does not mean that Donald Trump is no longer the president. It does not mean that Donald Trump won't be reelected. But it does mean that there is at least one lesson, that there is at least one example in the Republican Party today of someone who is willing at that moment to take their oath seriously. You're listening to the Thom Hartmann Program. I'm Jefferson Smith. Something else I'm grateful for? I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful to have the chance to speak with you. What are you grateful for? 202-808-9925. Here's Mitt Romney. Let's play that.
I'm aware that there are people in my party and in my state who will strenuously disapprove of my decision. And in some quarters, I will be vehemently denounced. I'm sure to hear abuse from the president and his supporters. Does anyone seriously believe that I would consent to these consequences other than from an inescapable conviction that my oath before God demanded it of me?
Is there any doubt? Can Lindsey Graham or the Drudge Report or Donald Trump Jr., or any of the people who are cascading critique and insult upon this man, can anyone truly doubt that what he wanted was that? That he thought this was going to somehow be good for Mitt Romney? That he was doing this because he wanted to make a show or for ego? Yeah, does he think his voice matters? Sure. He was the Republican nominee for president of these United States. To think about the gravity of that, imagine if Al Gore had sat in the U.S. Senate and there had been a Democratic president 4 years later, and John Kerry committed some crime, and Al Gore had stood up and done. Could you imagine the consequence that would have, the feeling that would have? Now, of course, the propaganda machine of the right wing will make the consequence of this different. But it's gratitude. It is Thank You Thursday. Thank you to Mitt Romney. Thank you to you. We'll be back. What are you grateful for?